welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and on today's program, we've got a stacked episode for you. I've already been getting the questions. Could the Texans trade for TJ Watt? I'm going to just start off the video by saying there is no way the Texans are trading for TJ Watt, but I'll break down if the Steelers are even open to trading him in the first place. Also, there's another trade rumor out there around Denico Autry from Sports Illustrated. I'll break down that trade rumor. And then PFF put out a list of their top 10 returning head coaches going into 2025. Where did they rank DeMeco Ryans, or was he even ranked? I'll tell you at the end of today's program. But before we get going, a couple news items that I would be remiss if I didn't even mention on today's show from this past weekend. I had obviously a 3-day weekend for July 4th, but just some catching up to do first. Former Texan Brian Bremen is battling cancer, so if you missed that, J.J. Watt donated $10,000 to his GoFundMe, to his fund. This from Aaron Wilson. In the fight of his life, how retired Texans linebacker, special teams ace Brian Bremen is bravely battling a rare aggressive form of cancer. Support from teammates, including J.J. Watt, donating $10,000. More on Bremen and how to donate. I actually have the link to this tweet in the comments of today's video, so if you want to go check it out, if you want to be able to support him, that's where you can do it. Also, some more sad news from this past weekend. Obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen everything with the Texas floods in the Hill Country. The Texans, Cowboys, and the NFL came together to donate $1.5 million to the communities impacted by those floods from this past weekend. And then, who else but HEB sending out the trucks, sending out the brigade to go help? I mean, shout out to them. One of the best run organizations, top to bottom, of anything in the business spectrum. HEB knows how to do it. They make sure they take care of the community. This tweet from HEB, please stay tuned to our newsroom site. They put the link in there for updates on opportunities to support. Right now, we can encourage you to donate supplies to the Red Cross to help their efforts. I also put the link to this tweet in the comment section of today's video. If you want to help out either of those causes, feel free to do so. Just being a Texans channel, being from Houston, I would be remiss if I didn't mention these two storylines from this past weekend. But if you want to learn more, it's in the comment section of today's video. Now, let's get into today's show. If you're brand new to the program, this is my Toro Heads meter. It's basically how I break down stories. If I give something 0 heads or fake news, not happening. 1 Toro head, small shred of truth. 2 Toro heads, 50-50 shot. 3 heads, pretty likely. And if I give something 4 Toro heads, H-Town, hold it down. It is happening. So the first story on today's show, and I have to stress this even more now, this isn't whether or not the Texans are going to trade for TJ Watt. It's whether or not the Steelers are going to trade TJ Watt, because the Texans are not trading for TJ Watt. And I don't think the Steelers are trading him regardless to any team. I'm going to give this one fake news. I don't see how the Steelers trade TJ Watt this offseason. Adam Schefter has kind of been peddling this storyline slowly throughout the past week and a half. He tweeted this out on June 30th. More about multiple teams mulling whether they can trade for Steelers standout pass rusher TJ Watt, who skipped the team's most recent minicamp and whom Pittsburgh wants to re-sign. So I actually went to our Steelers guy here at Chat Sports. His name is Jack Sperry. He runs Steelers Talk here. And this is what he had to say on the TJ Watt trade rumors. The Steelers, a team who has loaded up on veteran talent this offseason, Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, etc., to try and compete for a title this year, isn't about to trade their best player and a guy they need if they want any chance to win that title this season. The same thing happened in 2021. And guess what? They came to a deal right before the season. TJ Watt will be a Pittsburgh Steeler this season. And I completely agree with what our Steelers Talk host, Jack Sperry, has to say. It makes no sense to get Aaron Rodgers, where he's already come out and said this is going to be the final year that he plays. He plans on retiring after this season. So you're going to get that final year of, Aaron Rodgers, and you're going to trade possibly, I'm not even going to say possibly, he is the best player on the Steelers at this moment. I don't even think there's a trade package that a team could come up with that makes sense for the Steelers to trade away TJ Watt. I know it's a lot of money. I know they're dealing with, contract negotiations as we speak, but truly, there's no way I could see the Steelers in any realm unless TJ Watt absolutely demands out, which he hasn't yet. He's, shown that he's upset, but he hasn't demanded anything. Unless he does that, I don't think there's a way that any team can trade for TJ Watt. But do you agree? Do you disagree? That's why this is called Chat Sports and not Jeremy Sports. So I need you to go down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Is there any chance the Steelers trade TJ Watt this year? Give me a yes. Give me a no. If you get hit with the YouTube ad break here, all good. Scroll on down and give me your thoughts on the Steelers trading TJ Watt. Next up on today's show, a couple of trade rumors to deal with. Also, another defensive end, maybe not TJ Watt. I also saw an article, saying maybe the Texans should trade Denico Autry. And guess what? I'm going to give this one fake news as well. I don't think the Texans are even thinking about trading away Denico Autry. Now, he's been somebody who I've mentioned, in cut videos and trade videos in the past, but this was before the Texans restructured his contract, brought down that cap number, and I don't really think it makes sense for the Texans to part ways with Denico Autry. This is what House of Houston, though, had to say on the idea of trading Denico Autry. The 34-year-old defensive lineman had a rather disappointing first season in Houston, which was marred by a 6-game suspension due to violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. Autry signed a 2-year, $20 million contract last offseason with the Texans after coming off an 11.5 sack performance with the Tennessee Titans. The veteran defensive lineman didn't live up to his contract after making his 2025 debut in Week 7, which maybe he didn't live up to the contract as much as we would have hoped, but DeMeco Ryans and Nick Caserio rave about Denico Autry, and I don't see them trading away a good asset, something, one of your biggest strengths on this team, the defensive line. I don't see them making that unit weaker and, maybe getting some compensation in the future. That doesn't make sense. The Texans are in win-now mode, and like I said, they just restructured his contract. So usually you don't restructure a guy's contract, push money down the road if you're planning on just going ahead and trading or cutting him, right? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. Why would you go through the effort of restructuring that deal if you're going to turn around and then trade him? I don't really see the Texans trading Denico Autry unless somebody on the Texans defensive line steps up big time. Somebody maybe comes through and, really shows something, maybe a Dylan Horton, maybe one of these other defensive ends or defensive tackles in this room, really just shows them like, hey, I'm here, I'm ready, and then the Texans feel like they can move on from Denico Autry. But I don't really foresee that happening this offseason. I have one more storyline to break through, but hey, y'all been buying these things like hotcakes, so they're almost out of stock. You got to get it right now. It's at chatsports.com/HOU massive sale. These hoodies, I know, it's hot outside. It's, humid outside. You're not going to wear the hoodie right now. Perfect, definitely agree. Was $69 is now $27. You can't beat that price. And hey, you buy it right now, you wear it in the wintertime, it's a perfect deal. It's more than half off right now. And like I said, it's only going to last while the supplies last. So get yours right now. They have it in navy blue, in gray, in red, in various sizes, but a lot of them are selling out. So if you want to get this hoodie right now, go to chatsports.com/HOU massive sale. Once they're gone, they're gone. So get your chance to get this Texans hoodie at maybe the best price on the internet. All right, last story. DeMeco Ryans, is he a top 10 head coach? I know it. You know it. It's 4 Toro heads. H-Town, hold it down. DeMeco Ryans is without a doubt a top 10 coach. But you know who doesn't think that? PFF. They put out their list of the top 10 returning head coaches, which even makes it worse because it's not even factoring in the new head coaches this year going into 2025, and this is their top 10 list. Andy Reid at 1. Okay, yeah, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, 3 times going to the Super Bowl. I get that. Sean Payton at number 2. This list is absolutely insane. You're telling me Sean Payton is the second best head coach going in to 2025? Yeah, how do you even see that? He got a much better team than DeMeco Ryans did. He hasn't taken them as far. I mean, you're saying, he developed a rookie quarterback? Yeah. DeMeco Ryans' first season, he had C.J. Stroud, a rookie quarterback, and you're telling me a man who's taken over a 3-13-1 team, and he's taken them to back-to-back divisional rounds, and he's won the AFC South the past 2 years. But he's not a top 10 guy, though, right? He's not top 10. How is that even possible? Really, unless you're looking at Sean Payton back with the New Orleans Saints, he's not a top 2 head coach right now in the league. They got smashed in the wild card round. And you're telling me, that guy, he's much better than DeMeco Ryans, who actually won his playoff game this year. DeMeco Ryans is without a doubt a top 10 coach. Think of this. Before DeMeco came to Houston, the 3 years prior, the Texans did not have 5 or more wins. for 3 straight seasons. DeMeco comes in, and they have back-to-back 10-win seasons. They also win the AFC South in back-to-back years, and they win playoff games in back-to-back years. Yeah, in the first year with a rookie quarterback. So this is just absolutely disrespectful to what he's done the past 2 years in the city of Houston. And I think a lot of people take it for granted what DeMeco Ryans has done for the Houston Texans, because we were the laughingstock of the league. I'll just say it plainly. Nobody took the Texans seriously for 3 straight seasons. Nobody at all was scared of the Houston Texans before DeMeco Ryans came. Everybody was like, wow, whoever takes this next Texans coaching job, good luck. You're going to be out in 1 to 2 years. And DeMeco Ryans says, bet, I'll take on that challenge, and look what he's done. And the fact that PFF doesn't recognize that, doesn't list him as even a top 10 returning head coach is absolutely disrespectful and just shows you PFF just simply does not know ball. That's all I have for you on today's show, folks. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, you can continue the conversation. My DMs are always open at Jeremy Chuggs. And if you made it to the end of the video, obviously I'm doing something right. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go down and hit that subscribe button and join over the 30,000 people that call Texans Today their home for the latest Texans news and rumors.